In this paper, we present 2.5-dimensional building modeling with topology control. We first review the background of 2.5-dimensional building modeling, which was proposed in our ECCV 2010 paper. The input is a point cloud scanned by aeroplanes flying over the urban area. Since the point cloud is collected from another perspective, it has dense sampling on the building roofs and sparse sampling on the building facades. This point cloud is similar to a depth image, thus is a 2.5-dimensional data representation. On the other hand, the output of this modeling system should be polygonal building models composed of detailed building roofs and vertical walls, which is also a 2.5-dimensional characteristic. We aim at creating such building models from aerial LiDAR scans. This problem is called 2.5-dimensional building modeling problem. Although our early research solves the problem of how to optimize the building geometry to fit the input data, we observe that human vision tends to be more sensitive to building topology. This slide demonstrates a building modeling example. The input point cloud shows a typical building structure with several structural pieces, including a chimney. We apply two different simplification methods. The first one aims at better geometry, or in other words, the only thing it concerns is to simplify the model to obtain a smaller geometry fitting error. The second method, on the other hand, uses our topology control approach, which preserves all the building topology features. Although the second method allows a larger error tolerance, thus it produces a coarser mesh with larger geometry fitting error, we find out that the second model is still really more convincing than the first one, because it faithfully preserves all the topology features, in particular the chimney, which in the sense of geometry is a very small roof patch, thus is eliminated by the first method. Intuitively, building topology determines the existence of structural pieces and the connections between them, while building geometry presents where these structural pieces appear in the three-dimensional space. The differences between these two concepts are given in this table. Note that our paper is the first to formally define 2.5-dimensional building topology, which is the core of our new modeling method. The 2.5-dimensional building topology contains two crucial parts. The first part presents the existence of building structures. Given a certain 2.5-dimensional building model, we decompose the model into three major topological features, namely roof features. Each of them usually corresponds to a single building block. Wall features. They connect different roof features and form their boundaries. Point features, which mark the boundary between two neighboring wall features. The second part of the 2.5-dimensional building topology presents the connections between these topology features. Given a projection operator P, which projects a set of 2.5-dimensional objects onto the xy plane, and a boundary extraction operator partial, we can reveal the connections with two formulas shown here. Intuitively, this states that a high-dimensional topology feature is always bounded by a set of low-dimensional features. These two formulas can be verified using examples shown here, including standing alone building blocks, vertically attached blocks, horizontally attached blocks, stair shapes, and the combinations of these patterns. Once the topology features and their associations expressed in the form of these two formulas are fixed, the 2.5-dimensional building topology is determined accordingly. We also notice the existence of folding points, which makes 2.5-dimensional building topology different from 2D topology, as swapping the projection operator and the boundary extraction operator may absorb these topology features and result in problems. In order to keep the 2.5-dimensional building topology in the modeling process, we make three major modifications to the 2.5-dimensional dual contouring algorithm we proposed in our ECCV paper. In 2.5-dimensional dual contouring, only one hyperpoint is created per core tree cell. Thus, only simple building topology can exist in one cell. If the topology is to be preserved, cell merging is often denied, which results in lots of unnecessary polygons in areas with complicated topology. The first modification we have made here is to allow multiple hyperpoints in one core tree cell. Thus, complicated in-cell building topology is allowed, and we can preserve the topology with a much simpler model with much less triangles. The second modification is to use hyperpoint clustering with topology Ceph operators to replace the cell-based hyperpoints merging in 2.5-dimensional dual contouring. In addition, we make degenerate tests to prevent the model from being oversimplified, which is considered as the third major modification. The details of our modeling method can be found in our paper. Finally, we show some experiments. The first part is a comparison between our method and the plan-based method. Since the plan-based method does not have any knowledge on the building topology, it frequently generates topology artifacts, including cracks, self-intersections, and missing components, while our method is guaranteed to produce a crack-free model with correct building topology using a similar number of triangles. In the second part of our experiment, we gradually increase the error tolerance and compare our method and 2.5-dimensional dual contouring. With error tolerance increasing, our method constantly decreases the triangle number of reconstructed models. Reasonable cost is paid in fitting quality as the trade-off. On the contrary, 2.5-dimensional dual contouring reaches the simplification barrier around 3,000 triangles. In the extreme simplification case, where an infinite error tolerance is given, we generate a model with minimum number of triangles that can represent the building topology, while 2.5-dimensional dual contouring still produces a complicated model with thousands of triangles. We finally show our building modeling results for an urban area of Denver. The input point cloud contains 73 million points with 6 samples per square meter resolution. Our method automatically creates 2,099 2.5-dimensional building models within 5 minutes on a consumer-level laptop. Thanks for your attention. More resources can be found on our project page.